In 2019, a security consultant in Ohio spent $40,000 on a steel panic room. His neighbor spent $600 and slept just as safely. That is number 7 on this list. Number 14 costs less than a pizza and stops a battering ram cold. And number 3, police officers say it saves more lives than any vault door ever built. These 20 features prove the truth. Security companies hate you are paying for steel you will never need. Hit that subscribe button. Let us count down the poor man's safe room. Number 20, the solid core door swap. Here is the dirty secret of American home security. The bedroom door protecting your family is hollow. Knock on it. That cardboard drum sound means a grown man can put his fist through it in one punch. A panic room company will sell you a $12,000 ballistic door, but a solid core interior door from the hardware store costs about $90, weighs 60 pounds, and takes a determined intruder 3 or 4 minutes to defeat instead of 3 seconds. 3 minutes is everything. 3 minutes is a 911 dispatch, a patrol car turning onto your street, an attacker deciding you are not worth it. The pros know the whole panic room concept rests on one number, and that number is time. A $90 door buys most of the time a $12,000 door buys. The expensive version just buys it prettier. Number 19, 3-inch strike plate screws. Walk over to any door in your house right now and look at the strike plate, that little metal frame the bolt slides into. It is held on by 2 screws barely half an inch long, biting into a thin strip of soft pine. That is why kicked-in doors always split at the frame, not the lock. The lock never fails. The wood does. For the price of a coffee, a box of 3-inch construction screws, you replace those stubby screws with ones long enough to sink past the flimsy jamb and into the actual house framing behind it. Now a kick transfers into the 2x4 studs of your home instead of a decorative trim board. Testers have thrown 200 pounds at doors and watched them hold on nothing more than 4 long screws. Panic room installers charge 4 figures for a reinforced frame. You just built one for under $3. Number 18, reinforced hinge screws. Everyone armors the lock side and forgets the hinges. A trained burglar knows this. If the deadbolt holds, they simply drive the door in from the hinge side where the same pathetic half-inch screws are waiting. The fix is identical and just as cheap. Swap 1 screw in each hinge for a 3-inch version that reaches the framing. Total cost, about $1. Total time, 10 minutes with a drill. Now both sides of the door are anchored to the bones of the house. This is the kind of thing a $50,000 safe room bakes into a welded steel jamb. But the physics do not care whether the anchor point is welded or screwed. They only care that the door is tied to the frame and the frame is tied to the structure. $1's worth of screws ties the knot. Number 17, the door barricade bar. This is the feature that makes strong men stop trying. A barricade bar is a length of steel that braces across the inside of a closed door or a floor-mounted brace that jams against it. The commercial ones run $40 to $90. Some people cut a 2x4 to fit brackets and do it for $10. When someone throws their shoulder or their boot into the door, that force has nowhere to go. It cannot travel through the lock because the bar is spreading the load across the whole door and into the walls on either side. Prison doors, riot doors, and yes, 6-figure panic rooms all use this exact principle. A bar and a bracket is not a downgrade from a vault door. It is the same idea wearing work clothes. 2 seconds to drop into place and the room is sealed. Number 16, security window film. If your safe room has a window, that glass is the weak point, and an attacker knows it. But you do not need bulletproof glass, which costs more than a used car. You need security film, a thick, optically clear laminate you squeegee onto the existing pane for about $2 per square foot. The glass can still crack. It just will not come apart. The film holds the shards together in one flexible sheet, so instead of shattering inward and giving instant access, the window sags and bounces and refuses to open a hole. Testers have swung baseball bats at filmed glass 30 times and never made it through. For someone trying to breach a room fast, 30 swings might as well be a brick wall. It also happens to hold your windows together in a hurricane, which is how the product was invented in the first place. Number 15, the wide-angle door viewer. You cannot make a good decision about a threat you cannot see. A 1-inch peephole with a wide-angle lens costs about $6 and drills into any door in 10 minutes. From inside your safe room, you can see who is in the hallway, how many, whether they are armed, and whether they are law enforcement. That last one matters more than people think. Every year, terrified homeowners make the worst possible move because they could not tell the pounding at the door was a police officer. A $6 lens answers the question. Panic room companies sell $2,000 camera systems with monitors, and those are genuinely nice, but the entire life-saving function, knowing what is on the other side before you act, is delivered by a glass cylinder that costs less than lunch. Number 14, the floor-mounted door jammer. Here is the one I teased. It costs less than a pizza, and it stops a battering ram. A floor-mounted door jammer is a small steel plate that bolts to the floor a few inches behind your door with a bar that swings up and catches the door's bottom edge, roughly $30. When police or SWAT breach a fortified door, they aim the ram at the lock because the lock is always the target. A floor jammer moves the fight to the bottom of the door and transfers every ounce of ram energy straight down into your concrete slab or floor joists. You cannot ram the earth. Departments that test breaching tools rank a good floor brace among the hardest, cheap obstacles to defeat, and they do it for a living. A vault door does the same job for the price of a car. This does it for the price of dinner. First pattern break. Here is where the whole illusion falls apart. A panic room does not exist to survive a siege. No one is coming to lay siege to your bedroom for 6 hours. A panic room exists to buy you the handful of minutes between the moment you are threatened and the moment help arrives. That is the entire product. The national average police response to a home invasion in progress is somewhere around 7 to 10 minutes, and often much faster. So the real engineering question was never, how do I build a fortress? It was, how do I reliably buy 10 minutes? And 10 minutes of delay does not require steel walls and biometric locks. It requires a door that will not open, a way to call for help, and the discipline to stay put. Everything on this list either delays entry or shortens response time. The $40,000 version buys the same 10 minutes. You are paying $39,000 for the feeling. Number 13, the double-cylinder deadbolt used wisely. Most break-ins near a door happen through the glass beside it. An intruder breaks a small pane, reaches in, and flips your thumb-turned deadbolt from the inside. A double-cylinder deadbolt, around $40, needs a key on both sides, so a hand through broken glass grabs nothing. Now, the pros will tell you the trade-off, and it is real. A key both sides lock can trap you in a fire if you cannot find the key. So the smart poor man's move is to use it only where there is glass within arm's reach of the latch, and to keep the key on a hook right there, out of an intruder's line of sight, but instant for you. That single decision, matching the lock to the actual weakness instead of armoring everything, is exactly the judgment expensive installers charge a consulting fee to provide. You just provided it for free. Number 12, rehanging the door to swing outward. This one costs nothing but an afternoon, and it flips the entire fight in your favor. A standard bedroom door swings inward toward you, which means an attacker gets to kick it in the direction it already wants to go. Rehang that door so it opens outward into the hallway, and now every kick is trying to break the door against its own frame and hinges, which is dramatically harder. It is the reason exterior commercial doors, and not coincidentally, real safe room doors, almost always open outward. You are borrowing a design principle straight out of the six-figure playbook. The only tools are a screwdriver and a little patience with the hinges. The intruder on the other side has no idea he just lost his best move. Number 11, the interior room with no exterior walls. The cheapest upgrade of all is choosing the right room, and it costs $0. Expensive panic rooms get built in a corner of the house with exterior walls, then armored to compensate. But an interior room, a walk-in closet, a central bathroom, a pantry, has no outside wall to breach, no window to smash, and only one door to defend. You are not fighting the whole perimeter, you are fighting a single choke point. A room like that, with a hardened door and long screws in the frame, gives an attacker exactly one thing to work on while you are on the phone with 911. Security designers will happily sell you wall reinforcement, but you can delete the entire problem by picking a room that never had the weakness to begin with. Location is armor, and location is free. Number 10. The dedicated charged cell phone. Your everyday phone is the one thing you are most likely to leave in the kitchen, on the charger, in your coat. So the poor man's move is a second phone that lives in the safe room and never leaves. Any old smartphone, even one with no active service plan, can still dial 911 in the United States by law. Keep it plugged in, keep it charged, and it becomes a lifeline that is always exactly where you need it, at the worst possible moment when your good phone is 3 rooms away in an intruder's path. A monitored alarm panic button costs $30 to $60 a month forever. A drawer phone costs nothing but a device you already replaced 2 upgrades ago. It does the one job that matters, connecting you to a dispatcher who can send help. Number 9. The corded landline backup. Cell towers fail. Batteries die. A determined intruder can even bring a cheap signal jammer, a basic corded landline, the kind that needs no electricity because it draws its tiny power straight from the phone line, works in a blackout, and cannot be jammed by wireless tricks. It runs $15 to $20, and a simple line kit is a weekend job. There is a reason old-timers in law enforcement still recommend keeping one. When everything modern fails at once, a copper line and a dumb phone keep working. The most expensive safe rooms install hardened communication systems. This is the same instinct, redundancy, in how you reach the outside world, executed for the price of a paperback book. Number 8. The repurposed baby monitor. Information wins standoffs, and you can buy a lot of information for $25. A cheap audio baby monitor or a nanny cam placed at the top of your stairs or in your main hallway lets you hear and see exactly where an intruder is and what they are doing while you sit safe behind a locked door. Are they leaving? Are they searching? Are they coming up the stairs? Knowing the answer tells you whether to stay silent or shout that the police are coming. High-end panic rooms run banks of monitors for this, but the actual function, eyes and ears beyond the door, comes from a gadget parents buy by the millions. You are not spying on a baby. You are watching your one blind spot. Second pattern break. This is the part the industry buries. The single most important feature of any safe room is not a wall, a lock, or a bar. It is the phone call. A fortress with no way to summon help is just a nicer place to be trapped. Every door on this list, every screw and bar and film, exists only to buy enough time for that call to be made and answered. That is why a $600 setup can genuinely match a $40,000 bill. Both of them delay the threat, and both of them let you dial out. Steel does not save you. The dispatcher does. The patrol car does. Your job, and the job of every cheap feature here, is simply to survive the few minutes until they arrive. Once you understand that, the vault door stops looking like protection and starts looking like a very expensive way of doing what a locked closet and a spare phone already did. Number 7. The room with a water source. Here is the $600 room that matched the $40,000 one. The Ohio consultant's neighbor picked a central bathroom for his safe room. Why does that beat a steel box? Because a bathroom already has a locking door, no exterior window, tile, or concrete underfoot, and crucially, running water. If a standoff ever stretches longer than expected, if there is smoke, if someone needs to stay put for an hour, water is not a luxury. It is survival. The expensive vault down the hall had a water tank installed for 4 figures. The bathroom had a faucet, a hardened bathroom door, long screws, a barricade bar, and a drawer phone turned an ordinary room into a genuine refuge for the cost of the hardware alone. Choosing a room that already solves half your problems is the smartest money you will never spend. Number 6. The ready bucket. Fear makes people freeze, and freezing wastes the minutes you fought so hard to buy. The fix is a single 5-gallon bucket sealed with a lid that lives in the safe room and never gets raided for road trip snacks. Inside, bottled water, a few calorie-dense bars, any critical daily medication, a flashlight, and a printed card with your address and key phrases to give a dispatcher. Total cost, maybe $40. The point is not to survive a week. The point is that when adrenaline hits and your hands shake, you do not have to think. Everything you need is in one place you can grab in the dark. Panic room companies sell curated survival kits for hundreds. A bucket from the hardware store, filled once and forgotten, does the identical job. Preparation is not about how much you stock. It is about not having to search. Number 5. The trauma-grade first aid kit. A drugstore first aid kit handles a scraped knee. It does nothing for the injuries that actually threaten a life in an emergency. A basic trauma kit, $30 to $50, adds the items that stop serious bleeding and buy time for paramedics, and it belongs in the safe room, not the bathroom cabinet 3 doors away. You never want it, and if you ever do, nothing else on this list matters more. Learn to use it. A free afternoon at a community class turns a box of supplies into an actual skill. High-end safe rooms advertise medical stations as a premium feature. But the supplies are the same supplies, sold at any pharmacy, and the training that makes them work is available to anyone for the cost of showing up. This is protection you can hold in one hand. Number 4. The fire extinguisher and escape ladder. Here is the threat people forget while they are busy fortifying against intruders: fire. And the very features that keep a bad person out, a hardened door, a barricaded frame, a filmed window, can slow you getting out. So 2 cheap items complete the room. A small ABS fire extinguisher, around $25, gives you a fighting chance to clear a path or hold flames back. And if your safe room is on a 2nd floor, a collapsible escape ladder, roughly $30 to $60, hooks over a windowsill and gives you an exit that does not require walking back into danger. A safe room with only one way in and no way out is a trap, and the best designed panic rooms always include a secondary escape. You just included yours for under $100. Always have 2 ways out. 3rd pattern break. Here is what the brochures never say out loud. The thing most likely to get someone hurt in an emergency is not a weak door. It is a frozen mind. People who have never once thought about where they would go, what they would grab, or what they would say on the phone lose their most precious resource, the first 60 seconds, to pure panic. Every dollar of steel in the world cannot fix hesitation. And that is the quiet reason a cheap, well-rehearsed setup beats an expensive, unfamiliar one. You will use the room you know. You will fumble the room you were sold. The features on this list are cheap on purpose, because cheap means you actually install them, actually practice with them, actually know where the phone and the bar and the ladder are in the dark. Knowledge is the one upgrade that cannot be bought pre-installed. Number 3, the 911 script. This is the one officers say saves more lives than any vault door ever built, and it costs nothing but a note card and 5 minutes. In a real emergency, terror scrambles the brain. People call 911 and cannot remember their own address. They babble. They hang up. Precious time bleeds away. So you write it down in advance. Your full address. A short, clear line. Someone is breaking into my home. I am locked in a room. Send police. A description of who is safe with you and where. You tape that card inside the safe room door and to the drawer phone. When the moment comes, you read it. Calm, complete, correct the first time. Dispatchers will tell you the difference between a fast rescue and a tragedy is often just whether the caller could give a usable address. A steel wall cannot say your address for you. An index card can. Number 2, backup light and power. Intruders cut power. Storms cut power. And a safe room you cannot see in is a room where you cannot find the phone, the bar, or the first aid kit. So you keep 2 things charged and dedicated. A good flashlight and a battery bank, together maybe $40, that live in the room and get topped off on a schedule you actually keep. Light does something beyond letting you see. It steadies you, keeps a scared child calm, and lets you read that 911 card when the house has gone black. It also charges the drawer phone if the standoff runs long. Elaborate safe rooms wire in backup generators for thousands of dollars. But the function you truly need in those critical minutes, light, and a little reserve power, fits in a pocket, and costs less than a tank of gas. Number 1. The rehearsed plan. At the top of the list is the feature that makes every other feature work, and it is completely free. A plan you have actually practiced, not a vague intention. A drill. Everyone in the house knowing which room, which route, which door to lock, who calls, and what to say. You walk it through on a quiet Sunday twice a year, the way schools run fire drills, until moving to that room is muscle memory instead of a decision. Because in the real moment, there is no time to decide. There is only time to do what your body already knows. This is the truth that makes a $40,000 panic room look absurd. The most fortified room on earth is useless to a family that has never practiced getting to it, and a plain locked closet is a genuine refuge for a family that has. The expensive builders sell you steel. What actually keeps people alive is a door that holds, a phone that dials, and a plan everyone has rehearsed. You can have all three this weekend for the price of a nice dinner. Here is my challenge. Pick one this week, just one. The long screws in the strike plate, the drawer phone, the 911 card taped to a door. Then tell me in the comments which one you did and whether you ever really needed the $40,000 version. Because a safe room was never about the steel. It was about buying 10 minutes and knowing exactly what to do with them.